Fighting for equality. 1. Lost. Notebook at a time. Immediate engagement. You know how people always say, revenge doesn't have to be loud to be effective. Yeah, this story proves that sometimes the quietest people deliver the loudest humiliation. Without ever raising their voice, breaking a rule, or getting caught. Because this isn't a story about fists, shouting matches, or detention slips. This is a story about fighting sexism. With the Lost and Found box. The world of the story. Now, for some context. During my high school years, I attended a heavily religious school. And when I say religious, I don't mean calm, reflective, modern faith-based education. I mean old-fashioned, aggressively traditional, stuck in the past kind of religious. The kind of place that loved talking about values, but somehow forgot values like respect, equality, and basic human decency. If I had to describe the mindset of the staff, I'd say they were a small group of dinosaurs who somehow survived the meteor. Which, ironically, they probably didn't believe in anyway. Why this matters. At this school, girls and boys were not treated equally. Not subtly. Not accidentally. Blatantly. The girls were constantly fed this idea that our future purpose was to become obedient housewives. We were told, directly and indirectly, that our role was to serve, clean, support, and stay quiet. Meanwhile, the boys, they were encouraged to be lazy, entitled, careless, because the girls will take care of it. And when I say that, I mean it literally. The breaking point. Every single day, at the end of class, only the girls were required to clean the classroom, sweep the floor, pick up trash, put chairs away. The boys weren't just excused from helping. They were explicitly told not to help. Teachers would instruct them to sit at their desks and watch. And most of them did exactly that. But one boy decided watching wasn't enough. He thought it would be funny to make it worse. The antagonist 2 to 3 minutes targeting the quiet one. This boy had already been unpleasant toward me before. But once he realized I was shy, quiet, and kept my head down, he decided I was an easy target. While we cleaned, he would purposefully drop trash on the floor in front of me. Paper, wrappers, random junk, and he'd watch, smiling, while I bent down to pick it up. Sometimes he'd laugh, sometimes his friends would snicker. And the teachers, they saw it. They said nothing. That's when something inside me snapped. Not in a loud way. In a very calm, very deliberate way. The moment of justice. Here's the thing about being quiet. People assume you're harmless. They assume you won't fight back. They assume you won't notice. They're wrong. I decided that if he wanted to make a joke out of me, I'd make him the punchline. Slowly, methodically, legally. I started small. A pen here, a notebook there, his jumper, once. Anything he left unattended. Anything I could quietly access. And instead of hiding them or throwing them away, I placed every single item into Lost and Found. And I didn't stop there. Remember the trash he dropped for me to pick up? Yeah, that went in too. Every week, our school held a Lost and Found announcement. The entire class would sit quietly as names were called. And anyone with missing items had to walk to the front of the room to retrieve them. So once a week, for 3 straight weeks, his name was called. Again. And again, and again. Each time, he'd stand up. Each time, he'd walk to the front. Each time, his face would turn a deeper shade of red. Pens, books, jumper, stationery, one item after another. And every single time, the class watched. You could see it on his face. Confusion turning into embarrassment. Embarrassment turning into quiet rage. But here's the best part. I stayed exactly who I had always been. Polite, soft-spoken, nervous-looking. No one suspected me. Not once. Lessons learned. I never confronted him. I never raised my voice. I never broke a rule. But he stopped dropping trash. He stopped laughing. And he stopped bothering me. Because sometimes justice doesn't come with applause or dramatic speeches. Sometimes it comes quietly, once a week, from the lost and few. If this story made you smile, or reminded you that even small acts can reclaim power, hit that like button.